Everybody, this is Ben Weatherston with Photo Studio Group, and welcome to our second video. This one is a shooting tutorial, but it's not really a working technique that you would use with a client. It's more of an inspirational thing. Photographers are supposed to love light, and I think we all do. We like how light plays off of things. We're trying to get good lighting in all of our photos. And this tutorial is called Single Light Portrait. A few months ago, I took a picture of myself, and it was extremely intense and brooding and emotional. Not really. But it was, people liked it. They thought it was a good picture. Kind of strange, kind of the thing that I would end up doing. But it wasn't until a few days later that I started telling people, I took this picture, but there was only one light. I didn't use anything else. And that was very strange to people. So I didn't explain how I made it. I just, let people guess. And a few of the guesses were what you would expect. So they would say, well, you put the light back here, and it hit you, and then you had some reflectors down here. And that would be a good guess. But that is not how I made it. And the reason why is because I tried it. And I've done lots of pictures like that, and it's great. The problem is, when you do that, if you've ever done it, what you notice is that the light is harsh. It's really bright, because it has to be bright to come past you and bounce back up into the reflectors, depending on where your reflectors are positioned. Well, I didn't want it very bright, but I wanted the main light on my face to be relatively bright. So then I could either use like a metallic reflector, or I could just get the reflectors right up next to my face. But if you take a picture like this, it doesn't look very good because you're hiding behind reflectors, and people don't like those types of pictures. So what I did was something completely different. And so my goal for this tutorial is to get you to think about how you can shape and sculpt light and do some really interesting things that maybe aren't what you would use with a client, where you just have lots of lights you can bring in however you want. But it will help you, if you take this technique and you practice it, it will help you problem solve. And if you take this technique and you get good at it, you can come up with some pretty neat lighting setups with very few resources. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is turn off this softbox, and I'm going to turn on the light. Now there's only one light that we're using to shoot this, and it's going to be directly behind the camera. And so when I do that, you will see the shadow of the camera on my face and on the wall behind me. I am about 3 or 4 feet from this black wall, and we're not in a very big space. You don't need a lot of space to do this. Okay, so this is the light, and this looks glamorous, doesn't it not? So what I'm doing is I've got the camera, the light right behind the camera. That's why it's shining this shadow on me. And this is the only light we're going to be using. But what we're going to do is we're going to use modifiers to shape this light. But the whole tutorial, this light is not going to move, okay? Now, we went to the Office Max and purchased some of the best quality light modifiers you can find. And we paid the extra, we paid $4.19 for this brand name, Elmer's, and that's why it's not $2. But we just got a black and 2 whites, and these work just as good as anything that costs $30. So what we're going to do is actually take the black one, and we're going to put it behind the camera in front of the light, and then I will be in a shadow. Okay? So I will show you how that is done. Okay. I don't know if you can see me, but I'm in the shadow, and it is very dark. So I have the two white foam core. I'm going to actually just hold them in my hand, and they are inside the shadow of the black foam core with me. That light has not turned off. We're just in the shadow. and I'm just going to move these outside of the shadow. Okay? I'm going to get a little bit closer. Okay, ready? There we go. That's it. I'm just holding the things off to the side of my head. So, what we're going to do is the same principle, but we're going to have Jen come down and sit down, and then the three of us are going to show some of the different lighting setups you can do with one light and just modifiers. And if you were wondering in the example self-portrait I made, what that light over there was, it's just a mirror. And I put it on a stand while I was doing it myself, but now Chris or Ramayan is going to hold it so that it can redirect the light back down to Jen. So again, the thing to keep in mind is not that you would use these techniques with a client, but try them, get good at them, so that you understand how you can modify light. Okay, so that's the tutorial. Thank you very much for watching. I really hope that you were able to just get a little inspiration for what you can do when you're not encumbered by gear and stuff that you have to save up for months and months to buy. You can do this with one light and some cardboard. Now, you might be thinking, but no one actually does this. Well, that's not true. I actually just saw an ad for a company who's making those little diffusers that you put in front of your DSLR pop-up flash, and instead of diffusing the light, it actually is doing exactly what we're doing. It's blocking the light, it's casting a shadow on the subject, and it's bouncing that light to come at him from a different direction. That's exactly what we're doing. They're just doing it on a smaller scale. So I hope that you can play around, try some different techniques, and go ahead and send us some of your example shots if you do a single light portrait type thing like this. So we would love to post them on the Facebook and maybe even follow up with some more workshops or classes in the studio. So keep in touch with us as we are opening the studio. It's coming along pretty well, but we'll keep you posted, and we can't wait to get this thing open. Thank you very much.